Welcome to another edition of That's My Era Show and Tell. Yes, that's a vintage toy cash register. That's not what I'm showing today, but it just happens to be right there, so kind of have to. Anyway, so this is my very humble, very basic vintage watch collection. These are all automatics from the 50s through to the 70s. And this is Battle of the Bands Vintage Watch Edition. I've given each of these watches 20 wines on their crown and set the dates on each of them. They all have date features except for this Wittnauer. And we're going to see who comes out on top. So I'm going to check back in about 24 hours and see how they're doing. So we'll start with this 1950s Solar watch. Solar was a high-end Eaton's brand back in the day. In pristine vintage condition, this watch. Serviced in the past year. Then we have this Wittnauer, not serviced, and what I call my beater watch. It's pretty scratched up, so I wear it when I don't really care if I bump it. Then in not serviced, then we have this Gruen Precision auto wind from the 60s with a nice clean sunburst dial, not serviced. Still retains some of the lume on those hands though, which is cool. Then we've got this 1965 Hamilton Dateline. This watch was serviced in the past couple of years. This Gruen wasn't serviced, not sure if I mentioned that. Then we've got this Bulova. It looks like a 70s era timepiece, but this actually is dated from 1969. One of the reasons I love collecting Bulovas in the past is because of their date codes on the back. So you can, precisely date them, which is really cool. So that's a 1969 Sea King Bulova. And then we've got, last but not least, this 1970s era Sea Rock, Romer Sea Rock. A Romer was more of a kind of European brand. It's a nice piece. The crown is signed, and the dial is in pristine vintage condition. So we're gonna test these watches over about 24 hours and see who comes out on top. And yes, I know it's not really a level playing field, given that some of them were serviced and some of them weren't. This Romer wasn't serviced. Serviced in 2017, serviced in the past couple of years, not serviced, and serviced in the past year. But still, we'll see who gives up the ghost and who comes out on top. So check back in 24 hours. Thanks for tuning in.